Welcome to the USG Funding Tutorial. This video will prepare you to pass the Funding Mastery Test and complete a USG funding application for Tier 2 organizations. The application process will approve funds for your next semester. To apply, you must pass the Funding Mastery Test, plan out your next semester's activities, and fill out the application accordingly. You must complete the form in Adobe Acrobat, email it to fundingapplication@usg.uconn.edu, and hand in a paper copy to the USG office. You can find the Mastery Test on the USG website under Funding. The information required to complete this test is in this presentation and is provided at the Funding Workshop. The first thing you need to successfully complete an application is an outline of what your organization wants to accomplish next semester. USG will budget for all requests that are approved, so you should plan on making all requests at this time. Determine what you will need to accomplish your goal for each request, and decide on a date that you will hope to need your funds. Here we have a sample semester plan for the Birdwatchers Club. You can see that they have 3 requests, and they have the dates that they plan on utilizing the funds. After you have formed your plan, you should check to make sure that all requests can be funded by USG. This information can be found on USG's official policy and in the document entitled Restricted Items. If you have any questions about what falls under that list, please refer to a USG representative. To complete the application, you must fill it out in Adobe Reader. You will fill out one cover page listing all of your requests and a request form for each individual request. For example, the Birdwatchers Club will submit one cover page and 3 request forms, one for each request listed above. As mentioned, you must have Adobe Reader to complete your application. Here we show you how to download Reader. It can be downloaded for free and is ready to use immediately. Now we will demonstrate how to complete your application. It is very important that you both email it and turn in your paper copy by the deadline. On the left, you can see an example of the application cover sheet being filled out for the Birdwatching Club. Fill out the information at the top and then list each request in the table below. For each request, move to the request form shown to the right. Match the request number with the one shown on your cover sheet and begin to answer the questions at the top of the page. As you can see, the questions refer to the type of request, so you may need to enter your line item components of the request to be sure you answer the questions correctly. For the birdwatching seminar, the group is going to need AV equipment, catering, and a guest speaker. They will enter the corresponding quantity and costs. Note that catering depends on the number of attendees. The table will calculate the totals for each, and be sure to enter that total on the cover sheet as well. Now that we know that the group needs a speaker, they can answer the question that confirms that they will need a contact with their guest. At the bottom of the next page, we see that the group enters the date for their request and checks to see if they have attached any quotes. For this request, they do not need any and have not attached any. However, for the request for binoculars, they will need a quote because it qualifies as equipment. Quotes are always helpful but are not required if equipment is not requested. On the second page, we see that the group has already filled out their justification for funding. Please be as complete and thorough as possible here. The more information you provide, the easier it is for Funding Board to make their decision. Finally, the group saves their application for submission by clicking Submit at the top of the page and saving the file in the format described by the application. They may then download and fill out a new request form for the next request. Once you have been approved for funding, you will be sent an individualized checklist for the requests that you have been approved for. All supporting documentation that you need to file in order to receive your money will be listed by request. Please turn in a copy of each requested document by the due date corresponding to each request. These dates are between 30 and 45 days prior to when you need the money. We understand that sometimes expenses occur mid-semester that you could not have anticipated at the time you submitted your budget application. Should you find yourself in this situation, please contact a USG senator to help you sponsor your request. You may only receive funds through this process once per semester. Should you feel that your organization was treated unfairly or that a mistake was made that counted against you, you may submit an appeal. All appeals should be directed to the USG Comptroller at comptroller@usg.uconn.edu. You should be informed of the consequences of misusing USG funds. Minor infractions may cause the loss of some or all of funds approved for your organization. If your organization breaches the student code during an activity, you will be referred to community standards, in addition to a loss of access to USG funding. Two final things to note. If you are hosting an event that is restricted to only your members, or you intend to travel, you will be expected to contribute at least 25% of the total cost of your initiative. Also, should you receive USG funds, you will be expected to utilize them. This brings this training session to a close. Additional resources are available on the USG website at s/uconn.edu/funding. Here you can find the application, instruction materials, and other documents for your reference. If you have any questions, please refer them to the Funding Board Chair or the Comptroller.